Hey, welcome back to another video. Today I've got another vintage spincast reel. Today I have a Johnson Guide 155. So this reel was made in, I think it was either 78 or 79. There's a few different versions of this reel. Some have a red cover and black body, and some have different kinds of decals on them. And I think the red one, the red cover, I think is 75 and 6. I think the rest are a little bit after that. And this is the smallest version. The biggest one is the 165, I think. And the 160 is red and black, and the 160 has a crosswind spool, but it's a much bigger reel. This is the smallest guide. And this one has AccuCast. It says right here, AccuCast. I think what that is that when you cast, if you just tap the button, you can supposedly slow down make your stop, or slow down and stop. I'm not really sure how it worked. I guess you can pretty much do that with any spincast. And on the bottom here it says, of course, made in USA. And here's your star drag right here. And here's a look at the bottom. And of course, Johnson, back in the day, Johnson and Zebco were the two big American reel companies. And I guess Shakespeare was around too, but I don't think they were anywhere near as good or as popular as Johnson and Zebco. And a lot of people have feelings about which brand is better. I don't know, I think they're both good, but I always liked Johnson. I grew up using Johnson reels for the most part in Iowa. I never had one of these before, but I had some of the, I think I had like the Country Mile, something like that. It was pretty good. So this reel it's not a huge reel. It's bigger, definitely bigger than a Century, but it's not one of the bigger Johnsons, like the Sabra. I don't really like those reels too much because they're really big and heavy. This is a good size reel. And it's going to show you some of the internals. I'm not going to take it completely apart. It's going to show you what I did to it. I got this a few days ago from eBay. So here's the front cover. Pretty small opening here for your line to come out. Which means it probably should cast really well. Let's just take off the front cover. So you can see this groove right here, and that's where your line stop. This acts as your line stop. So that will go into this groove here, and when you push the button in, it's hard to see now because when you push your button in, your spool moves out. That would nip the line right here. Then take your spool off. You just have a nut right here, so you can just use a wrench or a socket or your hand, depends how tight it is. And your rotor comes off. Here's a look at that. See how the way the spring is situated. And this has a ceramic pickup pin. It's flat. It's not like a little round pin. You see the top right here, your line would just catch on the side of it here. That works pretty well. Here's your traditional metal green Johnson spool. There's a clip right here, so you just take this clip, take that clip off, out comes your spool. This little indentation right here that locks onto here. See, this is all brass right here. This is your trip ramp right here. And after that's off, you can just slide the body out. You see the gears. There's a pretty big, heavy-duty set of gears. And right here, this is your drag stack right here underneath the pinion gear. And this pinion gear and this main gear and this reel are both Teflon and painted black, so kind of plastic. I don't know if it's Teflon or nylon or whatever, fiberglass or whatever, but it's not metal. Here's your anti-reverse right here, and that's just riveted on. You can sort of see how that works. Right here is your drag. You just loosen it like this and tighten it this way. And when I got this reel, this pin, the shaft would not move, so I had to take this off and use WD-40 to free it up. So to get it off, there's a little, here's your pinion gear, drag stack underneath that pinion gear, and then there's a nut, and here's your spring, and there's a tiny C-clip right here, and I had trouble taking that off and putting it back on. It's really small, so I'm not going to take that off here now. And I didn't take anything off on this side at all, because there's quite a bit going on here, and there's like a weird spring in here if you're anti-reverse I didn't want to take off, and I didn't know if I'd get it back together. And it works really well as is. Drag works perfect, and it's really smooth. It's one thing about the nylon gears, I mean, this hardly makes any noise at all, and there's no wear on these gears whatsoever, so I think they're pretty durable. They probably cost more to make these than the metal gears. And I got some real grease on there right now. I probably have a bit too much on there. I'm not even sure if you're supposed to put grease on the plastic gears, but I did it anyway. But this reel is really smooth, and this reel foot, this is all metal right here. To put it back together, you just put it back, slide this part back in the case like that. Your spool, there's a little indentation here, and that just goes on like that. Then you can put your retaining clip back on. Make sure that's on all the way. And it is. And your rotor just goes on. It's a D shape, so you just match it with the D shape down here on your shaft. Just like that. And this nut goes back on. Just tighten all that back up. And put your front cover back on. I just have it a bit cross-threaded. There we go. Okay, so it's back on. So that's pretty much it. It's a pretty simple reel, and I really like this reel. It has a bit of paint loss right here, but I'll probably repaint that. But I think after the centuries and the citations, when they were all metal, when they started using a bit of graphite and plastic, they made a ton of different reels, and some reels they've made very small changes, but changed the name of the reel. And I think this one, like I said, I think this one's made for 4 or 5 years. And this is one of my favorite Johnsons. It's super smooth, and I like the Teflon gears. Yeah, it's really quiet and really smooth. Nice clean looking reel too. I think this is like, they really had it together at this time for reel design. And people might wonder, like, why use these old reels? Well, I like them because made in the USA right here. Like, these reels are made in the United States by Americans. Like, these were made you know, these people took care in their jobs when they made these reels. These are not some modern stuff that's just cheap Chinese crap that is made and it's going to fall apart in a couple of years. This is a reel that you can have for years and years and years if you take care of it. This reel now is over 40 years old. Right? It's working just as good now as it ever did. And I like to think about like who owned this reel before me, what kind of, where they lived, what kind of fish they caught with it. So if you have any of these reels lying around, maybe your dad had old reels or a family member or something and they're just collecting dust, like get them out and clean them up and use them. Because like Johnson was a great company and it's too bad they're not around anymore now. And like these reels are, they're not going to make any more of them. When they're gone, they're gone. So they deserve to get out and get fished. And I think I'm really going to start collecting Johnson reels from now on. There's lots of them out there, and it's a shame just to see them not being used and whatnot. So anyway, that's going to be it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.